So I want to show you how you can adjust your content in your drop zones. Normally when you drop it in, if you're using video or a still from a video, it's going to fit perfectly, especially if everything you're working in is HD format with an HD 16:9 aspect ratio. But sometimes that's not the case. Here, I actually want to add a graphic to this drop zone here at the top right. So I'm going to click in the drop zone well for drop zone 4. Then I'm going to select this guitar. It doesn't make sense for this particular timeline, but it's a great example of a graphic. It has transparency and it doesn't fit the drop zone properly. So I'll click apply clip. And then if you've worked with drop zones in Final Cut Pro 10 before, you probably know that you can double click directly on a drop zone in order to resize it. What you might find here though, if I try double clicking on it, what happens is it's selecting that background drop zone. Because all these transitions have the capability of using a drop zone for the background, even though it's not selected, it's back there and can be selected. So it can make it difficult to select the drop zone directly in the viewer. Therefore, let me deselect it and reselect the transition. For each of these transitions, we have controls for each drop zone. And first of all, I'm going to turn off the frame. That's the black background there so that we see this graphic with transparency because this particular graphic has transparency. Then I have something called scale and size, and I want to show you the difference between the two. Scale will scale up or down the content. So you can see the guitar is getting bigger and smaller, but it's not affecting the size of the drop zone itself at all. It's just making it bigger or smaller, and clearly it's getting cut off. And then, of course, pan X and Y will move it left and right within the drop zone. What I really want to do here is actually scale it down enough that it fits within the whole drop zone. So there we see the whole guitar. And in fact, if we can't really see very well, we can go ahead and hit Command plus a few times just to zoom up, see what we're doing here. Command plus one more time. So now the whole guitar fits within that drop zone. Once I've done that, I can use the size parameter to scale up the entire drop zone, including the guitar inside it, and make it nice and big. Now it's scaling up and it's actually moving over to the side. In order to move it, this is not where I would use the pan controls to move it over. You can, but if you move along the edge of that original drop zone, you can see it'll start getting cut off again. So instead of that, once you get the size you want, I'm going to press Shift Z so we can see the whole transition again. And what I'll do is go back up to my director view, because I know in director view, I'm going to have on-screen controls to be able to move this over and place it exactly where I want. And it could be on top of this little stem or anywhere else. So by enabling both the size and the scale parameters and working with them, you can put any kind of content in a drop zone and be able to scale it up and position it exactly where you want.